Okay, so now we're live. Gian is here. I can see his stream right there. He's preparing the presentation for today. I'm going to go check who's here right now on the stream. Right. Let's see. Yeah, I see a bunch of people there already. Good. All right. Yeah, we have already more than a dozen people online. So far, so good.
That's
okay,
cool.
so I'm going to wait a couple minutes, maybe 1 or 2 minutes, so that we have more people coming in. And then I just let Gian explain everything that he's going to be working on today and showing you. So we're live from Miami, and Gian is from Denmark. He's going to tell you more about himself. He's the reason why I'm doing this live event is that so, you know, I've been into 3D pixel and voxel art for my Unity games and also for teaching, because anyone can just come in and be able to do great art with voxel and, you know, 3D blocks. It's very simple to use. Anyone can just get in and do some, you know, pretty decent art. You don't have to be amazing. It's not, you know, it's not like a huge 3D mesh for cinematics. So anyone can just come in and do things that are okay. Obviously, you know, like if you're an artist, I'm sure you're going to do better things, but it's still a very good way to just get in the industry and be able to create your own art for games. Now, what I usually used to tell students was to go and buy assets. Now, definitely, you can always go and buy assets or hire a freelancer to do it for you, you know, like a graphic designer, and it's good, but it, you know, it ends up to be pretty pricey, obviously, you know. Now, a good way to start is to create your own 3D voxel art. It's going to save you time, and also your games are going to look better in the sense that you're going to have exactly what you want for your game. Usually, when you go and grab a graphic pack, it's not everything that you need. It's somewhat what you need, but some things are going to be missing. So knowing how to create this stuff yourself always helps. Having said that, today I have Gian here because I saw what Gian was doing for voxel art, and when I do voxel art myself, it's very blockish looking. It literally looks like blocks of cubes over cubes and so on. But with Gian, somehow it looks more organic, and so that's why I came and got Gian on to be able to show us a live demo of how he's doing it, because I'm going to learn from it, and you guys are also going to learn from it. All right, so right now we have about 30 viewers online. That's good. So Gian, I'm going to let you take it from there, okay?
Okay.
All right, let's do this.
Okay. So this is the scene.
Let me put you as a presenter so that everyone can see you. Present to everyone. All right. So that's it. You are live.
Right. That's cool. Hello, everyone. Whoever's here. So this is the scene we're going to be working on. Trying to get as close to this as possible within the time.
Gian, is there a way you can speak louder? Because I can hear you, but I don't know if everyone can, though.
Okay. Is it better now?
Yep.
Okay. So this is the scene that we're going to be working on. We're going to try to rebuild this scene. So I'll show quickly like the different assets I use, because everything here is a voxel. So all the parts are built separately and then put together within the engine. So there's a little bit of like level design in there. You don't have to, you know, build the whole scene as one piece, whether you use Cubicle or Magic or Voxel. It's more about building a lot of modular pieces, so you can just reuse them everywhere. You know, like you can see here, I'm reusing this same block to a lot of different parts. It just kind of makes things easier, a little bit more flexible, and I think it also just breaks away from this, you know, very cubish, very Minecrafty kind of aesthetic, and then you can get some more dynamic stuff like angles and circular stuff, which is cool. But
all right.
Yeah.
So, by the way, I just want to mention that if you guys have any questions, since we're live, you can go in the group chat and ask any question. We'll see them and be able to answer, hopefully, if we have the time for it. All right.
Okay. So I will show the individual pieces that I built. Everything in here, basically. So here we go. This is literally all I'm using. And then a lot of the parts that I reuse are probably almost the easiest parts to build. And it's just, you know, a simple block or another simple block. It's just, you know, simple parts like this thing. And then you can, you know, make doubles so that you have a full mirror, full window.
Yeah, and that's definitely what we want, in the sense that what I like about this is that when we have so many little blocks, basically our imagination is the limit. We can make anything from that. You know, we're not stuck to just have models and buy models and be constrained. Here we can just like create a whole world with that, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like you were saying before, you know, sometimes you tell students to buy packs and stuff, but I think there is times when you will be missing a few pieces, and of course with voxel stuff, because it is quite simple to build everything, you can easily go in and, you know, make your own stuff and keep it at a unified style, which is also what voxel stuff is quite good at, making things look quite good together. But I guess I could start building.
Yeah, go for it. So what exactly are you gonna try to do here?
So okay, I've grouped some of the pieces that are take a little bit longer time, like the roof and the side window. But the first thing I'll probably do is just quickly like grab some cubes and just start to block out the background a little bit. So I have a like a scene basically. So if we look at this scene, it's just kind of to get an idea of the whole thing and just starting to throw some assets together in the background.
Okay. So right now you're inside of Unity, and what software do you use to create those blocks, or which software can we use to create the same blocks that you did?
So everything I used was built with Cubicle, but you can also use Magica Voxel
Okay.
or Voxcraft, or there's a lot of different voxel tools you can use. There's a lot of free ones as well.
Right.
Magica Voxel is probably the most popular.
Right, but Cubicle is not free though. You have to pay for it.
No,
It
yeah,
might
you
be
have
a
to
little
pay
bit
for
more
Cubicle.
professional, but again, in some of the classes that I teach, I make sure that I only use free tools so that anyone can get in and create stuff. So I use Magica Voxel, and it's very easy to pick up.
Here I'm just gonna place the roof. Let's see, I guess we can do this.
So this is the Hobbit house from Lord of the Rings, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so now I'm going to grab the simple blocks and start using them. So I guess one thing is quite important. When you pull all these assets into Unity, you have to make sure that the textures, I don't know, I guess you would know this, but the when you're pulling in textures, all your textures have to be set on point. I can show you here. Materials. So this is how my import settings are basically. All my textures get set to point, and then you override this and you set it to true color, or else your texture is going to be like smudged, and you're not going to have the hard edges like these. It's just going to be blurry in between. So those are quite important when you import voxel assets into Unity.
Legendary performance for less than you think. Certified pre-owned by BMW.
Again, since you have made your block, you can deform everything really like up to, as much as you kind of want to mess around with it. And that's a nice thing about using voxel stuff, because once you pull the geometry, it still kind of keeps its the resolution and the hard edges. You don't have to worry about distorting something completely and it looking super bad. It's always going to look pretty good. It keeps its the resolution and the. All right, let's go with this part.
Okay, so meanwhile, I have a few questions that some people asked. Somebody asked, what is voxel art? So voxel or voxel art is basically what he's doing right now. It's like Minecraft. It's a way to create art the easy way by just having blocks. So instead of having to draw models that are pretty hard for people that are not artists, anyone can just come in and create blockish looking art and then make huge works like Gian is doing live. Now, some people want the link to the software. I'm going to do that later on. Or I'm going to ask Jonathan. Jonathan, can you put the link to EF Tracy? That would be nice. Thank you. Oh, I see that Daryl Beetle already put the price of Cubicle and stuff. Thanks, Daryl. I appreciate it. All right, Gian, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm just working on the door now. Yeah, when I built some of the objects, they're not even set, to be at a specific scale. They're just, just made randomly, because I know that when I pull them into Unity, I'm going to rescale everything anyway. So it's all about just having modular stuff that, you have to think about how you're going to use it when you build it. But in a way, it all just depends on what you feel looks good and the voxel density you want. Because I could have a really high voxel density around the corners here to make it really round, and then I would almost lose the feeling of it being kind of voxel, and it would look a little bit more like a model, like just a circle.
Right. So technically, what you're saying is that it's better to stay with a lower number of polygons, or limit the space that we work on whenever we're doing it in Magica Voxel or Cubicle. Have smaller space so that it still looks cube looking, like squarish looking, and not too smooth, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that will always depend on the type of style you're going for what you're building. But of course, the lower voxel count also is better. I mean, the more optimized basically, because you don't want the crazy voxel model with 1 million faces, because that can happen with voxels. It can very easily get really out of hand when it comes to poly count.
Yeah, I can definitely see that, because like whenever you're building only one house, you might have like only a thousand vertices. But if you build a whole village, you might end up with millions of vertices. That's right. So exactly. It's better to keep it on the low. And it would work great on all types of devices, especially on phones. Now phones are definitely getting better. Like right now, this is the iPhone 7, and I gotta tell you, the 7 Plus, it's a beast. Like when it comes to hardware, the games are so smooth, it's amazing. But not everyone has an iPhone 7 Plus or any other phones. Some phones are from 2010, and we gotta make sure that these people can play the game too, right?
Yeah, of course. Always optimize.
Yep.
Everything.
Okay, so what I like about your art is that you're not limiting yourself to having blocks. You don't mind going in Unity and starting rotating things and moving things around, which makes it less blockish looking.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the thing that I would like in voxels, I guess, when I'm constructing it in different programs, is to have just the option to have things at an angle. You can't do that.
No, that's right.
So,
Yes.
so you always have to sacrifice a little bit when you're building it. But if you are doing it in setting it up in Unity or in any or in another engine or in another 3D software, then you're gonna be okay, um, which is kind of cool.
Okay, so I can actually see it's starting to look like a house already.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
pretty fast. I mean, you've been here for like 5-10 minutes only. Yeah.
yeah, that's true. I guess it's because I've done it the first time, and now I know
Yeah, yeah. You have
a little
experience
bit
doing it. That's right.
the walkthrough. Because I guess the first time doing it, you know you're taking your time a little bit,
Yeah,
making
you
sure
want to make
stuff
it
is
right the first time, and then after it's easier to make a village because you already know the dimensions and what you're going to use to for the windows, for the doors, for
yeah,
the
exactly.
foundations. Mhm.
So we could probably maybe even add a couple more things or break it a little bit apart and see what we can build out of it if we do it quite fast. It'll be cool. So here I'll probably like come in and pull these in afterwards and fix all this stuff. But for now, it's just a matter of doing it kind of rough, um, just to get all the shapes in the right places, so we can have a bit more of an overview of where everything is.
Okay, I see. Yeah, that's something that I have to learn myself. Is sometimes I try and I get stuck in too many details in one specific corner.
Yeah, yeah,
I should not do that. I should do just like you said. Try to get the overall shape first. It's okay if it's not exactly perfect, and then work on the details. Right?
yeah, exactly.
Got it.
It's also really good if you can like give up on something pretty fast. You know, if you spend a lot of time like making this, let's say, and then you're not happy with it, and then you just kind of delete what you want and restart again. That's the thing about this process; it's very fast. So it's okay to dump all you've done and just try to start over because it's going to feel even better the next time you run through it. Let's see. Here we get this guy. So this is a cool little thing that people should know. If you hold V
Mm-hmm.
when you're on a model, it'll snap to the vertices,
Mm-hmm.
and with that you can move objects around the scene to exact points you want. So let's say if I want to get it right there, I hold V, drag it over, and it's going to snap to any other vertice.
Very cool.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's
Especially,
it's perfect for snapping an object exactly at the position we want. I didn't know about this. Thanks for the tip.
I'm gonna delete these guys. Don't want them more. Okay, cool. All right. How does it look like? Let's just check it out. These guys.
Wow.
Okay. Let's go back there.
Okay.
Let's put the window. Yeah, cool. So this window was kind of funny when I was making it because I thought this is not gonna work. This doesn't look like a proper window,
Mm-hmm.
but it does. If you just throw it in there, these
Oh, I
colors
see
are the
what you mean. Yeah.
same. So
Yeah, it looks more like a wheel, but when you put it at the
yeah,
right spot, it does look like a window. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be a little more centered. Doorknob, and then I think this is gonna look like a door finally. I think what will help is if we actually turn the light around a little bit. Over there. Get a little bit of shadows. That's cool. Okay. Okay. Cool. I got one here. Right. Make this bigger. And I think we're gonna have to put the frame. Let me do this.
So when it comes to the light, are you using anything special? Because I can see the shadow is very good on this. Are you using anything special right now?
No, actually, this is just standard Unity lighting. I haven't done anything to the
Very good.
light.
I can see like under the wood, the shadow is very good.
Yeah, it's pretty sharp. No, I haven't done anything. There are some camera effects that I will show off later that could make the lighting a bit nicer.
Okay.
But so far, this is just pretty standard Unity stuff. I like the way this roof is sitting, so I'm just going to move it a little forward. And then I'm going to grab all of this, just rotating. I'm going to do stuff. That's a little better. Let's make. Yeah, the thing with this process is it's quite hacky. You know, everything is just meshes are kind of going into each other and all this kind of stuff, but it doesn't really matter because I mean, what you see, like this is what your player would see, but they don't need to know really what is going on behind the scenes as long as the camera view is okay.
True.
And you're not showing anything, you know, that's broken, then it doesn't matter at all. I think it's all about also just faking as much as you can, so that it would save your time and also it still looks good. It's fast.
So some of the questions that people are asking is if we're going to post the video as a reference. Yes, definitely. We will also have the video as a reference so that you guys can always go back. Now, what we're going to do is that on appsfresh.com, we're going to put a link where you guys can download all the project files as well, so we can play with it. And also, Daryl is asking if you're using any type of shader, because here, what he says is that all the models that you have, they already have colors and stuff like that. So colors, and it looks like there's already materials on it. So could you elaborate a little bit on how you ended up having these colors on
The colors on
the
the
models?
models.
Mm-hmm.
So when you export the models from whatever voxel construction tool you use, you will always get this basically this, and this is kind of like the UV. I mean, it's a bit of a broken UV, but it is what it's supposed to be, like a texture of the model, and then the material will just come with it as well. But that's basically it. Those are all stuff that you import, and then they're all attached to your models.
Okay, so whenever you export from Magica Voxel, it exports as an object file or OBJ, which also comes with a dot material file, which has all the mapping of the textures on it. So basically, what's a UV mapping? It's basically a way to map the colors with a specific spot on your model. So technically, it's like, think about being a tablecloth that just goes on top of a table. That's basically what's happening here. You have the model that might be just like plain white, and then the UV map has the a file, which is an image that we just put the texture and the color on top of that object. All right. Now, again, there's some other stuff like shaders. Like Daryl was asking about shaders. There is no specific shaders here. It's probably using the default shader, which means that it looks pretty plain. Now, there are different types of shaders to have a texture so that the model may look like wood, or it may look like it's a metal, or it's iron, or it's water, and so on. Now, Unity also comes with shaders that are already made, so you can always assign a shader to any models that you import here. So if you feel like the wood doesn't look like too much like wood, you can get a free wood shader and apply it to this. Okay, so any of these models. Now you probably won't apply the wood to the grass, but I'm just saying, you can definitely apply this to these columns and to the door. Now, obviously, when we look at this, it seems that there's no need to add any new shaders. The default shader is just fine, right? It already looks great on its own.
I mean, yeah. I guess it would just depend what you were trying to go for. It would be cool to do something like have a some kind of shader to do this, make this look like glass, to pick up the black and almost make it see-through. That could be an interesting thing to try. But yeah, with shaders do open up a lot of potential for cool tricks. Okay. Let's see.
Yeah, very cool. I like the oblique, the oblique wood stick or plank that you put there. To be able to do this with Magica Voxel, it would be hell to be able to do that. Anything that's like in diagonal, it's just too hard. So it's much better to just come in Unity and do that.
Yeah. Yeah, or else you would have to make this jagged, like voxel curve, and that doesn't always look so nice. Like having these curves, I think you could do it sometimes. It's okay, but I think when you start to try to really do a lot of round stuff, I think it just loses a little bit of. Yeah, I think it starts to just look a little too much like Minecraft. Which is at least what I try to do, is try to avoid making all my voxel work. Kind of like a little goal almost. Like how much can you push voxels that they don't look like a Minecraft game?
Right. So we're trying to find like the fine line between being Minecraft, which is very blockish, to not being too real and too smooth. So
Yeah.
there's like a good middle ground in between, and that's what we see here.
Let's see if I can just make this a little better. I'm just gonna hide this guy. Doesn't matter. Cool. The one.
So we have a few questions. So first, there's one from Jonathan. He's asking if you've tried a cartoon shader. Have you ever tried that on top of the art?
Not actually, but I have seen some cool ones. I definitely want to give that a go at some point.
Okay, okay, Jonathan, good questions. If any one of you has ever tried that, let us know. And now, definitely, a cartoon shader would basically add outlines, like black outlines around the art, right? That's what it would do, right?
Yeah, I guess like a toon shader or something.
Mm-hmm. We have another question from Steve. He's asking about the floor, the grass, the green floor. And he's asking if it's made of thousands of blocks or it's just a scale shape on top of a plane. Like, how do you end up to have this, like, it looks like different layers. How do you do that?
Well, this I did in Cubicle, but basically the way this was built is it's a height map, just a really low height map, and it has 3 different colors. And
okay, so you can do height maps within Cubicle. Okay, that's something you cannot do with Magic Ebb also. Now, you can definitely do a height map with Unity, but it would never look blockish like that. It would look a lot smoother, unless there might be some kind of a script to be able to do that, not that I know of. Okay, but I definitely would see us, creating a few layers and put layers on top of layers. But definitely, when you do a heat map, it's a lot easier. So let me explain to some people, if you don't know what a heat map is. It's basically you draw a shape with variation or tones of black and white. So when it's black, it means it's completely flat, and the whiter it gets. So on a grayscale, the whiter it gets, the higher the floor would go up. Okay, so if you have, let's say, a black plane with a white dot in the center, it means that in the center, it means that you're going to get a flat plane. And since you have a white dot in the center, you're going to have a huge spike in the center. Okay? All right. So also, Nicholas asked if you think that Cubicle is easier to use than Magic Voxel. Now, obviously, Cubicle is not a free tool, so you would expect a better experience. What's your take on it, Gian?
Well, I think they're both really good. I think if it's the first time you're making voxel stuff, then Magic of Voxel is quite nice and easy to start with. I found that like the actual navigation and stuff in Magic of Voxel, the first time I used it, I found it a little complicated, but that's only because it's very specific to what it is. Like the program itself has its own kind of rotation and stuff. It's not like a normal 3D program. So if you've used stuff like Blender or Maya or Max before, and then you go into Cubicle, it's quite similar. Like even in Unity, all the buttons and the rotation is all uniform. But in Magic of Voxel, they have a bit of a different setup. But it's not hard or anything like that. It's just like a different workflow in a way. But I don't know. I definitely recommend Cubicle if you wanted to build a bit more of a scene, or where you need to use assets. But the thing is, it's kind of like what you're comfortable with, because you can do 1,000 things in a million different ways and end up with the same result.
Okay, so you're saying that there is nothing that you can do with Cubicle that you cannot do with Magic Voxel, right? You can do it in both, right?
Yeah, I mean, there is actually, when I do my organic stuff, So if
What do you mean by organic? Like flowers,
so
trees?
no, not flowers, but more like so if I can quickly just
Okay, so this is Magic Voxel, okay?
if I want to quickly like try to make uh, a piece of grout, let's say, and you have to do this kind of thing. You cannot do this in Cubicle. This would be super annoying and really hard to do in Cubicle, but mainly because you would have to be, selecting the blocks and putting them together in a matrix and all this kind of thing.
I
But
see what
because
you, it definitely looks organic. Like in no time, you just create a whole mountain. Amazing.
yeah, exactly. So it's a lot easier to paint in a way in Magic of Voxel, which is something you cannot do in Cubicle.
Wow, that's surprising. It's a free tool, and surprising that you can do more stuff with a free tool. Now, something that also people love about Magic Voxel is the rendering. It has an amazing rendering. So people from Cubicle take their meshes, their project, and then import it inside of Magic Voxel. And actually, that's how I met, and I saw your stuff, Gian. I saw your renders. They looked amazing.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, today I made a little scene, and then I, of course, put it in Magic of Voxel and rendered it over there because why wouldn't you do that?
Sure.
It's just a lot better to render. I mean, it has a really good rendering tool. Let's see. I think I'm just going to take this from here. All right.
So Steve is asking if Magic Voxel supports height maps. I don't think so. What do you say?
Not sure actually. I don't think so either. I've never tried it. I don't know. I would have to look at it. I don't think you can create height maps.
Yeah, I don't think either. And if it is, it's really hidden because I would have stumbled upon it. So
exactly.
I would say no. But I also have to say that the EF Tracy, which is the guy that creates Magic Voxel, he's very active on it. Like every month, this guy is adding a lot of features to Magic Voxel. So I definitely see that we could go to EF Tracy's website and just ask him, or even go on Twitter and do at EPHTRACY. I repeat, at EPHTRACY, and ask him, and he actually will reply to you and say, yeah, that's a great idea to add height maps. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool guy when it comes to his program.
Yep.
It's pretty crazy that it's all for free.
I know, right? Software like this, a few years ago, it's amazing what we can do with that.
And it's come so far. I mean, I remember using it like even just last year, and the rendering system has improved so much.
Right. Especially the lighting, the water, the transparency, some stuff that are out of this world.
It's a pretty crazy graphics programmer, I think.
Yep. Yeah, let's enjoy Magic Voxel while it's still free. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly, right?
Get bought out anytime by a bigger company, and they're going to put a price on this.
Yeah.
Very cool. It already looks like you're almost done with that, right? I mean, yeah, it looks great from the front. Maybe not from the side, but at least from the front.
It's like all the little...
Do not look behind the curtain.
Yeah, exactly. Never look behind the curtain. Let's see, I kind of want to hide some of this. Yeah, this is what I like about making voxel assets. You can just change stuff and deform it, and it's still gonna look fine. Like imagine if you tried to deform a organic model wooden thing, and then it's just going to stretch and look super weird.
Right, exactly. So basically, if I bought a 3D model that was like smooth, I cannot just take a finger or take the head and make it bigger and things like that. It just would look ugly. But here you have total control since you're doing it in Unity. You can just basically take any part and modify it, make it bigger, smaller, scale it up and down, and it still looks good.
Yeah, exactly. This.
All right.
Now I'm just going to take this.
So the window. And I like the feeling. It really looks like bricks, like red bricks. How did you do like for the different colors? You just made like 1 or 2 bricks and then just apply the different paint color on it?
Yeah, I just made 2 bricks.
That's 2 bricks, that's it? Yeah. Okay.
Amazing.
This looks like you have so many different colors. Okay.
I guess it's just because there's the light kind of shines. And
yeah, with the shade, it's amazing. All right.
Do this, and then, oops. And you can use the snap trick to get it exactly for these kind of things. That should probably be at the exact point. Okay. Make this a little bigger.
So yeah, some people in the chat are like they would pay for Magic Voxel to because it's a really good tool, definitely. But again, when you're an indie developer or you're just trying to create your own game studio and start to make games, you always try to save some money in the sense that just trying to hire a programmer or even just learn. Whenever you want to learn stuff, you usually have to pay for tutorials and things like that, or pay for graphic assets. So it's never completely free, but it's always good to stay on the low.
Yeah.
But again, sometimes you want to invest in great graphic designers like Gian, and have like Gian as a freelancer, and he'd be able to create amazing worlds for you that it would take you so much time to do. Even myself, Yeah, like I try to make some art myself too, but at some point, obviously, there's some art I just can't. I hire people to do it for me. It's just better, they're specialized. That's all they do. So they're always going to be better than us.
I mean, you kind of at some point have to. I think we talked about this once before, right? Like you just have to pick, right, and specialize at something.
That's right.
You can.
Yeah, so that's why, like, I personally specialize with Magic Voxel when it comes to actually tools, but I try also to specialize with Unity. Now, there's plenty of other software as well. This would work also in, let's say, Unreal, the Unreal Engine, which is great as well. And you could definitely do that too. But again, Unreal is not free, or at least, I mean, there is a free version, but obviously Unity is a lot. Anyone can just get in and get the personal version and do what you're doing right now. Like, I really like what you're doing here. I don't know if you guys noticed here, but it looked very blockish at first. But by just taking and duplicating some of the blocks and rotating them in multiple directions, it's starting to look, very organic, right?
Yeah, you kind of get this like low poly style that comes out a little bit.
Yeah, I have a feeling that now it's like grass or bushy. That's amazing.
I think this can work. Yeah, I think I could do this the whole day.
Yeah, you can keep going, right? Yeah.
It's like at some point you kind of have to.
Yeah, you're gonna have to figure out when to stop. And that's the thing, like when you're an artist, it's never finished. You can always go back and change something, add something. So that's the problem with every artist. Like they're never satisfied. They can always do better.
Yeah. There's always something else you can add, and especially with 3D stuff, there's always tricks you're gonna find everywhere.
Very true.
Adding cool shaders, new lighting systems, all this kind of stuff. There's always something you can throw into your scene that's gonna make it a little bit better. So this stuff I just dragged in because it would have taken a little time just to put together, but they're all just, this is the same as this. It's just flattened and morphed into, you know,
Yeah,
another
it's
piece.
hard to believe. It looks like a, you know, it looks like another mesh, but yeah, it's actually just a block. Yeah. Oh, same here, right? I like your tomato. A tomato or a
It's
red
supposed
pepper.
to
I don't
be
know.
an apple, but
An apple. Oh, my bad.
we got a green apple, we got an orange. I mean, these are quite just simple, but you
Yeah.
know, from far you can kind of tell that there's something going on, so that's okay.
So we have a question. Nicholas is asking if it's hard or if it's easy to animate voxel characters. Now, the simple answer is if you're doing everything yourself from scratch, yes, it's as hard as animating a real character that's not voxel based. However, in one of my courses, that's the 3D animation, it's on Udemy and multiple other platforms. It's how to animate 3D characters. And there is actually a free tool that you could use from Adobe. It's called, you want to talk more about it yourself?
No, I was just agreeing. Like it's so good. I know it as well.
Yeah, definitely. So yes, so Adobe has a free tool where we could definitely do that. And in the course, I show every single step to do that. Now, the tool is not really free, but since Magica Voxel uses so very little vertices, it's actually free for the lowest tier, which is perfect for voxel art. And you can actually animate characters easily on the cheap, almost even free, man. Even yeah. So
I think yeah, it's pretty free.
yeah.
We're talking about what is it? What is it called again?
It's called a Mixamo.
Mixamo.
Yeah.
Mixamo. I think it's a great tool.
Yeah, definitely.
You can really just get in and download some assets you want, some animations, and you're kind of good to go. I even know I have some friends developers who use it professionally for their models, and it just.
Oh yeah, definitely. The result looks, for games, it doesn't get any better. In the past, to be able to do motion capture and be able to get someone to be able to move and do animations for, let's say, grabbing a sword or having a shield and be able to fight with a shield, a sword, or even a gun, it would take weeks to be able to get someone and a lot of money to be able to do all this animation and capture that. Nowadays, they're already made for you. You just have to grab them, apply them to your characters, and then save it as a Unity format, and you import them straight in Unity, and it just works. It's amazing.
That's really cool. Make these look a little more dynamic.
Okay, so like really at the beginning, you just had a few blocks, and now it really starts to look like a whole environment now. And I know that after I know what you do, and the difference between a good scene and an amazing scene is the final steps, right? The final render that you add. And I'm not going to say too much yet because I want you to show people very soon how you're going to add a few things here and there, and all of a sudden the scene is going to look like out of this world.
I hope so.
Yeah, we live, so anything can happen. His computer could just shut down right now. So we'll
Everything just crashes. There's no more scene. It should be okay. Hopefully, I can add some.
Yeah, hopefully I didn't jinx it.
Yeah, I think my computer can handle it.
Yeah. Good. Okay, so right now you're making the fence, right?
Yeah. So I don't really want to make like a static, straight fence. I kind of want to make it look like a little broken or old or.
Yeah, I see what you mean, and that's something that people mess up many times, and even myself, is that when I start, I make things way too smooth, way too clean. But if you think about it, like go outside, go in the streets, and look around. Look at the fences. They're not clean. They're like dirty. They're like broken. They have stuff on it. They're rusty. There's nothing perfect. So
Yeah, they're not totally rigid. They're just also kind of organic in some way.
Now, since it's the Hobbit house from Lord of the Rings, it might be a little bit different because technically, the Hobbit village, which is the Shire, is like supposed to be super clean and like spotless.
Yeah.
But anyway, you know, we're just having a good time here.
Yes, so, but I mean, you could probably have some lazy hobbits.
True,
Don't
yeah.
want to properly.
Yeah, you could have a hobbit on the quest, right? Next thing you
Yeah.
know, years pass by and the house goes down.
Yeah.
So let's
Just want
assume the
to.
hobbits are gone. They're gone on an adventure.
Yeah. Yeah. But they left all their apples out and they look quite fresh.
Yeah.
See, I'm just going to make this hit the floor. Okay. Cool.
All right.
Yeah, I guess that's cool. Okay, we can do the other part afterwards. What should we go for next? Let's see what we have. Oh, the stones. Yeah, these are cool. These again are just super simple stones.
Okay,
Tiny
so
bit
it's
of
just
texture.
like a circle or a small cylinder. Okay, you make it
Okay.
bigger.
I want to try to build like a little kind of pathway.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna simply get just a bunch of them
Okay, so you just
first.
duplicate it and moving around. Okay.
I'm not even going to think about the size or anything just yet.
Okay. So you're just like placing them, and then
Yeah.
you're gonna work on having different size. Okay. Very cool.
Just to get the assets out there in the beginning.
Okay.
Let me see what could look cool. So let's say if this was a real thing, I guess you would have a sort of S path, maybe. Maybe it's even a little tilted. Just so they don't look too flat.
Good. Yeah, you know, like I mean, it's a live demo, and obviously, you know, I'm sure if you were not like time constrained, you can even do better and put more time into putting things around. But obviously, you know, like Gian is trying to find the right middle for not having you too bored, having him like move a piece of stone like 20 times left, 20 times right, rotate it 100 times. But you know, it looks already great for you know, in less than 40 minutes you're able to like do a huge scene by yourself. That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. The thing is also knowing myself, I could literally sit there and be like, no, yeah, no, yeah.
Exactly, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
You know, just to yeah, but I am trying a little bit to get it quite right.
and usually what I advise is that I'd rather see a scene done than not finished, and because someone was trying to do it too perfect.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to like voxel art like this, it doesn't have to be too perfect, you know, because like people can, if somehow you're missing something or it's not perfect, people will just imagine it, you know, they will just create in their mind and say and put in the right spot, or it's fine, you know, it's to tell a story. We want to tell a story. We don't just want to recreate the real world or make it perfect. We just want people to have a feel of, you know, like a cozy shire where there's going to be hobbits and things like that.
put this flagpole here. Cool. Okay, then I'm gonna get this guy. I'm using the snap tool again, and it just saves so much time.
Cool. So to make the flag, you just take a big stick, just scale it up. Very cool. Now, how do you do this flag? You don't do this flag in Magic Voxel or Cubicle, right? No.
No, this is a prefab that I had.
Yeah, it's a prefab. Yeah, I can tell because it's too, it's not blockish and it's very thin. Like it doesn't even take one block. Now, the good thing about pixel art is that there's no problem, right? We can just come in and mix other stuff that we may already have, right? Nothing can stop us, right?
Exactly. I mean, the thing is, like, it depends a little bit how much you want to stick to the voxel style. But I think, at least in my opinion, it's pretty cool to mix voxel with different styles. Like, especially sometimes I try to do, like a sculpted organic floor in something like Zbrush or another program where you can sculpt stuff, and then putting voxel stuff on top of it, and it gives you that mixture of different aesthetics. And I think that can be very interesting, actually.
Yeah.
Not
so
something
for people that don't know what Zbrush is, it's basically a tool to be able to sculpt. So you start with like some kind of a block, and then you can just like a real sculpture, you can start removing pieces of the sculpture and smooth it up, and at the end you end up with a statue or something like that. And that's what people use usually to make real looking characters. This is called Zbrush.
Really powerful tool.
Yeah. Like it's a tool on its own. There's some job openings, and jobs are just, they ask you, do you know how to use Zbrush? That's all, that's all you need to do. Zbrush. It'd be enough. And I would expect in the future some jobs are going to be like, do you know how to use Cubicle and Magic Voxel? And that's it, and obviously Unity, because now you can pretty much do anything in Unity. I'm projecting like in the near future, Magic Voxel or Cubicle would be within Unity. It could become just some kind of a component, and people would just create the art straight within Unity. I know there are some plugins already here to try to do that within Unity, but they're not that good. To be honest, I've tried them, and the end result isn't that great. It's still a lot better right now to use Magic Voxel or Cubicle. So it's not there yet. So very cool. You're making flowers, okay? Just moving them around.
Placing them around. I just want to get a little bit of white in the scene, so the colors kind of start to pop a little bit.
Okay.
Put some of those in there. And then I just duplicate the ones I've already done and throw them everywhere. Cool. Maybe we're gonna get some more over here.
Okay, very cool. So you create like a cluster of of flowers, and then you duplicate the whole cluster. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Just delete some so it doesn't look too similar. But I will do the same now, actually, with some grass. And this part is quite interesting because, well, it's the same system, but it's just
okay. So it's like a long, okay, like a patch of grass. Okay.
Yeah. Build it.
Okay, so it has a different color than the floor, so that it comes out, and it's darker. Okay.
Yeah, because I want to have a bit of more of like contrast between the floor and the grass itself.
Yeah, so that it pops out. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So is this the same? Yeah, those are the same. Okay. So do something like this.
Okay, so you're like playing with the size, right? The size, the height.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Just to get a little bit of a variety, basically. Maybe I'll make them all a little thinner.
Very cool. Yeah.
And then, if that's cool, I'll just grab it and maybe see how it would look.
Oh yeah, you rotate it so that it looks different. I see. So you rotate the whole patch. Okay.
And you can even, I guess, grab that.
And then grab the whole patch again, and then okay, I see. Very cool. Wow, like in no time you're recreating the grass.
Then I guess I'm going to
Move it around.
Maybe here. That's cool. That works.
You know, it looks like a fun process. Like I definitely would see myself, you know, like sometimes you don't feel like working, you just feel like chilling or doing something fun. I definitely would see myself just like sit down and just create a whole scene by doing this type of art. It's, you know, it seems like it doesn't take too much brain power, and it's like it has some kind of a soothing or like zen feeling.
It's quite sensual. I mean, when I make this stuff, I'm always really enjoying it because it's. I mean, you don't have to think about so many technical stuff as well when you're building it, and because it's so low poly, you don't have to worry about it being optimized and all this kind of stuff. So it is pretty relaxing, just building the stuff and then putting it in there. And I think also a lot of times you can surprise yourself with the assets you make. Like when I first built the background here, I had a very organic, rigid, and it just I wasn't happy with it. So then I thought, okay, I'm just going to throw some cubes and see what happens, and then it works. And that's always quite nice when you build these scenes, or at least to take it, you know, kind of slow and just feel how it goes while you're building it.
Yeah, but you know, like you know, and things that you are doing make sense. Like it wouldn't even cross my mind to put the grass around the fence, but it actually makes sense because that's where it would grow, right? It would grow around the fence. Yeah, that makes total sense.
See if we can get some up here. Oh, we forgot something. I forgot the roof, the chimney.
The chimney. Oh, okay. Cool.
Actually, really liked the chimney when I built it. I was pretty happy with it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So you built the chimney in one block, right? You went in a cubicle and just built one block and just import it?
Yeah. I didn't want to do a modular one because I wouldn't have needed to in a way. It's just one piece.
Yeah, that makes sense because it's not like you're gonna be making like hundreds of different types of chimneys. Maybe one or two different types.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. Yeah. Very cool.
Maybe we can put it here and this.
Okay. Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, so that we see that the house is is more in depth. Yeah, very cool.
Up there for a bit. Because I wanted to look like the house is kind of inside the mountain or
right.
See if we can. This works. Cool. Thank you so much. Okay, so what I want to do now is I made these blocks as well, and they're just very simple. You know, it only has two colors. There's a tiny bit of variation.
So it's just like a gray block with a darker gray on top. What are you going to use that for?
So those are just rocks, and I just want to basically use them to break up the scene a little bit, I guess.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, to add a little bit more color variations.
Yeah, because the background right now is just all this green. There's a lot of green.
Yeah. Okay. So you definitely mean like a big rock. Okay.
Green is kind of a funny color, to be honest. I always try to avoid green as much as possible because it's very saturated.
Okay.
And it's hard to balance with other colors, I think.
So what are your favorite colors usually that you use?
I don't know. I guess it depends on what I'm making. But if I'm doing like sci-fi stuff, I always like oranges and purples are always nice. They kind of mix together quite well.
Orange and purple. Okay, good to know.
I guess there's a lot of like little combos you can do that work together always, like go-to colors. You kind of just try to like certain colors and then use them over and over. I don't know.
Now, these techniques that that you're showing, we can reuse this for basically any themes, right? It doesn't have to be just like medieval fantastic or fantasy style, right? We can.
This, yeah, I mean, you could do this with everything, really. This is how I build every game, to be honest. Even if it's not voxel, I'm still doing the same techniques.
Okay.
Even with the modular stuff, even when I'm building other things, if it's organic as well, it's always a plus because you have a nice like bushes and like terrain and things that you can kind of morph into each other. It works in the exact same way.
Good to hear.
So everything that you learn in this kind of thing is transferable. Especially like when you get the hang of Unity a bit more and just moving and navigating around and putting stuff together, that's just also transfers to all other kinds of 3D programs.
Okay. Like, how do you know where you're putting the stuff? Like why?
I don't know.
You don't know. You just feel like it.
No, yeah. It's all just kind of like, okay, does this look good there? Does this?
Yeah. Okay, so it's like trials and errors. Yeah, to
Yeah,
just
yeah.
see like, and then you look at it from like a broader
Yeah, you
view
kind
and
of
see if.
zoom a little. Yeah.
Okay.
But there is no plan. I never usually, unless I have drawn designs, which I will usually do in the beginning of the process, but it's mainly to, get an idea of the basic big shapes. Where can stuff be that would definitely look good? I wanted the door in the center, of course, but I wanted like this brick wall on the right and having the table here and the fence around. Like those are just the things that I definitely wanted.
Okay, I see. So
areas.
in your mind, you already know a few things that you must have, and then you figure out the rest as you go, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's just those very basic ones like it would be cool to have a fence here,
Yeah.
Kind of go around this way. But when placing the blocks and stuff like that, it's just a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, it's
it feels right. Like what these rocks do. Cool. Okay, maybe we can take this now.
Yeah, so some people are saying in the chat that the way they were doing it, or the way they thought we should be doing it, and that's the way I thought, and that's the way I was doing it, is I was going Cubicle or Magic Voxel and basically create all the assets there. And then I would come to Unity and put them there. But from what I see, this technique is much better. The fact that you just create the basic blocks and a bunch of like building blocks within, think about like Lego blocks that you can reuse within Unity and make so many different objects. Wow, you create a whole scene here by just duplicating a few things here and there, huh?
Yeah, I just wanted, because I'm thinking about the camera now. So it's probably going to be somewhere here. I want this to, of course, be hidden, but I will probably, I'll probably figure that out when it comes to it as well. How's it going? Okay. Let's see, what is mainly missing?
Yeah, because when people think, like I'm creating voxel art, the first thing that comes to my mind would be like using Magic Voxel or Cubicle. And it doesn't. It never came to my mind that like I would be creating the voxel art within Unity itself as creating scenes here, and that's something that I guess people are not used to do, or that I don't see as much as I thought I would. But definitely, I see that I'm probably going to use that more in the future. And then I could just create prefabs within Unity and just reuse them for any other scene or any other game.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, what I'm going to do is the stuff that you're creating here, I'm going to plan on using it in one of my next course, which would be an online multiplayer game. Now, I'm not sure which online multiplayer game I'm going to be doing. I know it's going to be online, like multiplayer, in the sense that we like World of Warcraft, where you can have like dozens of players at the same time playing together online. But I'm not sure if I'm going to do that, or if I'm going to do like a card game, like a Clash Royale or Hearthstone or Magic the Gathering, something like this. So I'm not yet sure, but I know that I'll be reusing that so that people can see that what you're doing is totally reusable and totally valid to make video games with it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you build prefabs out of all this stuff, you can go pretty mental with what you can use it on. It's all very reusable. Okay, so what's next? Let's see, what do we have here? Use the table, the tray. Some texture on it. Let's use that.
Was that a bush?
Yeah, basically.
Boring. Just kidding.
Boring bush.
No, but it is, I got to be honest with you, like at some point, like by now, it's starting to get boring in the sense that we got it, like we get the idea now. So that's good, like I'm sure people get the idea, and I got the idea myself, which is, we have it. Okay, I mean, it looks great. Now,
okay,
how could you take it to the next level? Like it looks great, but
so
show us
now
how
we
you take it to
are
the next level. Yeah.
we have to get the camera now.
Okay. Okay, so you're playing with the camera here. You're moving the camera so that you get a good angle.
Yeah.
Okay. And in the background, you have some clouds. Now, where did you get the clouds? Are these the default clouds that we can get in the default Unity asset package that comes with Unity when you download it, or you had your own clouds?
No, I found these on the asset store, but they're free. So.
Okay. All right. So I'll make sure that I get the link from you, and I'll put it inside of the page on AppsFresh. By the way, you can already go take a look at the page on AppsFresh. I haven't put the stuff yet, but the page is there. It's appsfresh.com/pixel demo, PIXELDEMO in one word. Okay, appsfresh.com/pixel demo. So you'll be able to download all the stuff. If you could go right now, but the stuff is not there yet. So there's going to be an empty download. So just come a little bit later, like in an hour or so.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got the camera now. I guess that's a good angle.
Yeah, I kind of see that the camera preview is pretty small on our screens, so I'm sure it's small for the guys too. But yeah, all right.
So
yeah. Oh,
we have a camera.
Yeah, that light is amazing. What do you do for the light? Do you do anything special? Is the default lighting here?
So I will show now what I have on the camera. It's just a few filters basically.
Yeah. Okay. So you added a regular light. What kind of light? Is that a directional light? Is that a spotlight?
So the light is just the standard directional light. There's nothing special about the light itself, but the camera has some filters on it. So this is what it would look like just with the standard camera.
No lighting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. And then you can get from the asset stuff. You can download. Where is it? I think it's a component.
Okay, so you have the regular assets for Unity, and you import the regular assets. Oh, you do have a custom one?
No. This is the standard Unity assets that you can put like camera filters on the camera.
Okay, good. All right. So
Um,
I see that in your inspector, you have the flare layer, audio listener, which is just basically so that we can have some sound in the future. Yeah, these are always there no matter what.
yeah. And it's just the bloom to get the light a bit.
Very cool. Yeah, it looks very like sunnish, you know, like lots of sun.
Yeah. And then there's
And
this one, which
space.
yeah, screen space ambient occlusion, which is quite interesting, but can also be, you know, you can mess up with this and make things look really bad, especially with voxels, I think, because you know it can end up looking like that, and that's
I don't like it. Yeah. Okay.
so you have to be very gentle with this and just kind of see where it feels okay.
Yeah, I see what you mean. So it's easy to usually overdo things and always try to put more effect, put more filters, and next thing you know, it actually looks worse than not having them. Yeah.
Very easy to get carried away with camera filters, I think. I mean, when I first started using them, I made the mistakes of always putting extra effects because they look cool, but then they also are quite heavy. If you have a lot of effects,
very true. Yeah,
they're not. They can
So now what you're doing, you're basically adding some like green hills in the back, so that in the camera preview we see like we don't see the horizon, right? It's like covering the horizon, and it looks like it's a whole world. I see.
I just want to fake a little bit of the scene. More trees in the back.
Oh, very cool. So the tree, same thing. It's just like a brown stick, and then you took a few cubes and you rotate them around the tree, right?
Exactly.
That's it. Very cool. Now you could probably grab one of the apples that are on the table and just put them right there in the tree, right?
Yeah, we could totally do that.
Very cool. Yeah, then you rotate it so that it looks like a different tree. Yeah.
Yeah, just to get it a little bit different. The camera can be even a little closer.
Okay.
Okay. And then let's get those clouds.
Okay, so now you're gonna take the image of the clouds and just like put it in the back. That's it.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, I see them. All right. Yeah, starting to look amazing. Very cool. So technically, we could like add multiple layers of clouds and have some kind of a script, a C# script or JavaScript script to just like slide it right and left on the horizon, so that we can have some kind of an effect of parallax, right? Like it's live, right? Yeah.
Oh, I think I'm getting carried away now with.
Yeah, I can tell you right now. We're like moving little things here and there. Okay, I mean, it starts to look amazing already. Is there anything else you think that we should add? I mean, it looks amazing.
I do have some also stuff that I found on the store, just effects basically.
Mm-hmm.
There was this dust cloud, which was quite
the dust cloud, okay. So why would you use a dust cloud? What does it add to the scene? Like it's like, oh yeah, I see it. Yeah.
So in a way, yeah, it doesn't really fit, or you know, like it has no real purpose if you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
But it just kind of gives it a bit more glow, almost.
Yeah, I see. Actually, it looks like it's hot. Like it looks like it's a hot day. I like it.
Even though it's dust, like you can just.
Yeah, but still, it looks like it's actually just like sun stuff. Heat. Very cool. It's one of these things that I would overdo myself. I know, like, I would like, oh, that's pretty cool. Let me duplicate this. And I would like duplicate it 50 times, and then it looks like nothing after.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very easy to get carried away with the stuff. I always do as well. And then I come back and,
and you're like, what did I do? Shit.
So maybe now we might be going a little bit overboard with the effect.
Yeah, we're getting there, huh?
Yeah, we're starting to, I think. Smoke here. I don't know if this smoke
Oh, I
fits
see. Yeah,
super
the smoke
well.
for the chimney. Okay.
It could be a thing.
I don't know. I think it's a lot of smoke, no? But whatever.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the dust clouds aren't super necessary.
Yeah. I mean, that's very cool.
But yeah, there's room to really mess around with this kind of thing.
All right. Now, can you zoom in the whole camera scene? I mean, is there anything else you'd like to do here? I mean, I could definitely see the flag. We can easily add a rotation on the flag, you know, like some kind of a wind effect. Oh, you already have it. Excellent.
Yeah.
Very cool. I mean,
So the
guys,
clouds are
look
also
at this. Isn't that amazing? Like this was done live, you know, like no filters, like literally. Gian is amazing. Good job, Gian. You just did this live.
Thank you.
There is no hidden, you know, like no, like I stopped the camera. I'm gonna do some editing and then ta-da! No, this is what you guys saw live. So as you can see, there is no tricks. You can just like I'm gonna put this video online so that you guys can watch it again and again, and it's all here. So good job, Gian. I gotta say this looks amazing. I'm definitely gonna take this and put it in my scene and use that.
Yeah, sure. Sounds good.
Now, is there anything you'd like to add? How could you? Is there anything like what I want to know is that okay? So I'm gonna have that, and I want to use it in my scene. I want to save time. You know, I'm kind of like, I want to do like hustling stuff. You know, like now that I would have that scene, what can I do with it to start like duplicating things and creating more assets out of it?
So I guess you would want to start making it quite modular. So let's say if you wanted to break the house apart, you could technically, build some pieces in a way that so that they're blocks, or like so. Take for instance this piece. If I had built it in a way where it was you had this piece and then this piece was longer, let's say. If this went all the way.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. So technically now, instead of just being one block for the wood, you would take like the whole frame with the window and the wall and the frame around, and then becomes a new module on its own. I see.
So you would just like, exactly, come in and just pull this out completely. And then you could reuse all of that and as one piece.
Yeah, so why don't you do it for us? Okay, so I promise, try to do it, and if you can't, I'll do it, and then I'll put it on AppsFresh, on appsfresh.com/pixel demo, so that people can just enjoy it and create amazing games with it. Because at the end of the day, I just want people to make more cool things and enable people to do things with the little amount of time that they have. Many of you, they have full-time jobs, and they might not have jobs that they like to do, but I'm sure they would love to create video games. But obviously, it's hard to just come in, create video games, and make money and make a living out of this. Like any art, making games it's an art, and there's lots of starving artists out there. So let's try to make it easy so that everybody could make amazing things out of this. All right, so thank you so much, Gian. Is there anything else that you probably want to add, or any shameless plug? Go for it.
Shameless plug. I mean, I could write my Twitter handle, and people can follow me there if they.
Yeah, definitely go for it.
They're interested in seeing my stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Whoa, not there. How do I do that? Okay. You can just do it like this. How do we do this? So my Twitter is here. And if you want to follow me, you can just go to this page.
Okay. GDBEIS. GDBEIS. All right.
Yeah. And I post stuff there, voxel stuff, and sometimes I show how I make stuff and things like that. And I mean, you can message me and just ask me things, and I'm always pretty open to helping people out with voxel-related things like that and all this kind of stuff. I'm up for it.
All right. Thanks for everything, Gian, again, and thanks for everyone for coming here. I know it was a long one. Usually people do only like a 10-20 minute live event, but this one was a long one, but it was totally worth it. So again, thanks everyone. Thanks, Gian. And
thanks.
I'll see you guys on appsfresh.com. Go ahead, Gian.
Yeah, no, just saying thanks for having me. It was super fun.
All right, cool. See you guys.
Bye-bye.